Hi, good morning, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here to introduce this very interesting topic about how the retail industry can capitalize on the mass amount of data they have to really start creating value. The challenges that we see in this space right now is not about the capacity to get the data, but it's about the capacity to recognize where you want to go, and more importantly, defining those steps in between in that journey, because it's not something that you turn every day. And make sure that then you allocate and be very precise about the data that you need to associate with each of those steps to guide you in that journey. So I want to invite our co-presenters on this topic. The way this is going to run is they're going to talk about a presentation, and then we're going to open up for questions. Let me introduce them. So Giles from Business Director at Acxiom, and Simon Chatfield from eBusiness and CRM head on Heathrow Airport. So, over to you.
Thanks very much, Juan Louis, and good afternoon, everyone. I'm just going to talk briefly about the principles that underpin the work that we're doing with Heathrow, and in fact, many of our clients, whether they're in retail or across all verticals, and really always starts for us in the middle here about the consumer. Everything that we're trying to achieve is improve in consumer experience. And the way that we do that is by doing more relevant marketing, and for us that's data-driven marketing. And if you increase that consumer relevance and that consumer experience, then really those other metrics that you want to follow come into place. And that's a mindset, and Heathrow have thought about how they can be consumer-centric, and we heard a bit about earlier, you need technology to enable that, but you need an ethos as a business as well to be consumer-centric and put the consumer first. So let's move on a little bit and look at those three areas. So we talk about recognizing, understanding, and connecting. And when we talk about recognizing, that's about collecting all that data. Every time someone interacts with one of your assets, whether that's they log onto the Wi-Fi in the case of Heathrow, whether they come to your site, whether they're clicking on your advertising or calling your service center, you're logging those interactions and you're connecting them, putting that against real people. So now you've got that, that's kind of your big data. And what you need to do is move on to the next step, which is understanding that. And what you want to do is break down those silos, those interactions that you might have at campaign level, you might have at brand level, and you want to start bringing that all together. And that's the sort of management of your data, your first-party data. And what you might also want to do at that point, we heard earlier, is start layering on some third-party data to add some more flavor and color to that about who your consumers are. And that's creating your single view of the customer. So now you've got that, you've taken your big data and you've really changed that into manageable data. What you want to be able to do is to distribute that to the consumers in the most relevant channel at the right time. And that's your connecting with your customers. And that's the consistency to make sure that no matter what channel you're going through, that message is the same that you're putting out there. And really where we're seeing a huge uplift and interest at the moment is our facility to take that great CRM, that offline data, and deterministically match that and find those people, those segments online as well, which is great, driving great ROI for our business. Now, obviously, once you've connected, that's going to drive actions, and in the case of Heathrow, what we hope is transactions, and that's going to drive learnings, and you loop right down to the beginning again, you take those in, you connect, you understand, and it's a case of learning as you move on. And again, when you're working with PII, and every time we work with any of our clients, what's really important is that it's being underpinned by data stewardship and privacy. So those are the foundations of the work that we're doing with Heathrow, and I said we've got many of our clients. And now I'm going to pass over to Simon, who's going to talk specifically about the work they're doing with Heathrow to deliver a great customer experience.
Thanks, Giles. Good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to take the next just a few minutes to take you through the Heathrow story. So some of the data challenges that we have faced and how we've harnessed some data opportunities to overcome them and really improve our passenger experience and, importantly, to drive incremental revenue. It's a story of component parts that I think in this esteemed audience you might not find are revolutionary in their individual parts, but together I hope it's inspiring that you can bring these together and deliver them at scale and at speed and make a tangible difference. So let me just start by just introducing Heathrow. We are Europe's busiest airport, so every year we welcome around 75 million passengers through our terminals, and that's from about 85 airlines to 200 destinations around the world. And we very much power the UK economy. An example, we have up to 35 daily flights between London and New York City alone. So it's a very big place. But scale is not everything for us. What drives our business is delivering a great and, importantly, a secure passenger experience. And in fact, in the last few years, we've made a massive step change in that space. If I think of the EA example, we were similarly in that space 10 years ago of languishing at the bottom of global satisfaction surveys. And now with significant investment in the last few years with new terminals, new IT infrastructure, we've now been nominated or awarded this year's Best European Airport in the Skytrax Awards. So a massive change. But as we celebrate our 70th anniversary in the next couple of weeks, actually, we set our sights even higher. We want to deliver the world's best airport service. We want to challenge the powerhouses of Hong Kong and Singapore. And so how are we going to do that? Well, I could talk about the things we've done in terms of automation or wayfinding, but I want to focus on retail and the retail experience. So like it or loathe it, and a lot of our passengers absolutely love retail, it's a very key driver of passenger experience. It's up there with cleanliness and punctuality and security. So get it right and you can really change the dial on experience. But importantly, it drives so much revenue for us that it actually allows us to invest in other parts of the passenger experience. We are a massive retail business, turning over about £1.9 billion of revenue last year. And we've blazed a trail in airport retail. So we've got brands from Zara all the way through to Louis Vuitton and Chanel, from Starbucks to Michelin-starred chef restaurants like Gordon Ramsay. So it's a big business for us. So Giles touched upon the fact that delivering a great customer experience is about recognizing, understanding, and connecting with our customers. So that should be perfectly easy for us, right? I mean, what other retail environment do you know that makes you book a ticket to come to see you, makes you at the front door give you all your PI information and capture it on your infrastructure, and then basically stops you from leaving until we decide it's time that you leave? It should be absolutely simple for us, but therein is our data challenge. We are a very data-rich environment. As I said, most of that information is passing through our infrastructure, my IT systems, but actually the majority of data is completely unusable by me as a marketeer. It's either proprietary for the airlines or it's governmental or operational, and I have no visibility. So in truth, I don't know who's coming through the terminal today, and I don't know who came through yesterday. I need to build up a rich picture of all of those people. I need to replicate that. I need to find the triggers, the signals that you're coming to the airport tomorrow and today, and then have that value exchange, create those touch points that allows me to communicate with you the commercial messaging that I want to achieve. So the way we've done that is in a 5-box approach in the last couple of years. So let me start on the left-hand side, building up an internal data. So we do have some sources like pre-book parking. We integrate that, build a single customer view, and launch things like a free Wi-Fi service. So 35,000 people a day coming onto my database, logging in, pulling that information in. Launching a retail loyalty scheme so I can track people as they're making transactions in my stores. And then moving on, augmenting that with third-party data. So integrating things like Personic's lifestyle data, integrating beacons and Wi-Fi triangulation into it, so working out where people are. Working with premium publishers like Facebook and Twitter, all of it to give a little bit more richness into who you are and why you're coming. Last year, we integrated the Adobe Marketing Cloud, giving us that true cross-channel view as to when you're on our footprint of our websites so that we can start to trigger information to you, and then allowing us to create new touch points, whether that's through outbound through SMS or targeted web content. It really has step changed our communication areas. Moving into today, we're next generation of single customer view, and that's offline triggers such as automated number plate recognition. So I know when you're coming through, entering our car parks, I can start to trigger communications to you and set in place other business processes. The interesting thing for the rest of this year is the introduction of the Heathrow marketplace. So we're kind of moving our data into a completely different space. So we'll onboard our information, our customer data, onto a safe haven provided by Acxiom, and allow our business partners, so retailers, let them upload their loyalty schemes into that area so they can benefit from our insight and us from there anonymously, but also they can benefit from the triggers that we can provide them so that they can market directly to our passengers. Because actually it's a concessionaire model. It's not a rental model we operate. So the more revenue we drive for our retailers, the more revenue we drive for the airport. So I just, in the coming closing minute or so, I just want to quickly flash through a couple of practical examples on that passenger experience. So pre-departure, we are triggering eCRM to you 21 days before, 8 days, 3 days before you arrive. Or if we're using things like the Adara service, so if you're making a booking on United.com, we're tagging you and starting to target you with display advertising when you visit our site or in other areas. When you get into check-in, we're pushing your notifications so that we're asking you to use your loyalty card, and then as you're moving through the terminal, we're promoting offers relevant to you. In the departure lounge, as mentioned, we're sending about 35,000 of these real-time bespoke emails every day showcasing what offers we have available and services that we truly think will benefit your journey. Finally, and this is one of my favorite ones, using double-click and augmenting with our location information to display target you. Because actually, I don't want you sitting in a departure lounge. I'd rather disrupt you and get you up from your browsing and maybe go and visit some of our stores. So just a snapshot there of how we've managed to step change our retail environment and help us on our journey towards the world's best airport service. Juan Luis.